From Minnesota to Tennessee, wannabe Congresswoman Aftyn Behn, who is running in the state's special election, has found herself caught in scandal after scandal. First, it was given this less than glowing review of the city that she wants to represent.
I hate the city, I hate the bachelorettes, I hate the pedal taverns, I hate country music, I hate all of the things that make Nashville, apparently, an it city to the rest of the country, but I hate it.
I don't even know what to say, but then she was pressed on her past comments for calling for the police to be defunded.
I'm not going to engage in cable news talking points.
So you don't want to clarify whether you still believe that the police should be defunded?
Once again, I don't remember these tweets, but what I'm saying is that
I'm not asking you if you remember. What is your position today? How's that on this issue?
I mean, once again, I'm here to talk about my race.
Okay, now, just like her Democrat colleague Zoran Mondani, the commie, she's hopping on the affordability train.
Joining us now, Tomas Philipson, former Council of Economic Advisors acting chair, who I assume loves Tennessee and loves Nashville probably more than she does. Like, who doesn't love Nashville?
Good point. Country music is all the way, right?
And so when you look at what's happening here, is this just a page out of Mondami's book where she just hates everybody and wants to stop everything? Or is there a different angle here, something we need to be thinking of differently?
I think the main message from Democrats is that affordability is the word of the month, essentially. And there's two different approaches. They want affordability through redistribution, essentially, mainly from companies to other people, essentially. The point is that that's different from the Trump agenda, which wants lower resource costs of producing things through deregulation, taxes, etc., and competition. The point is that if you tax companies to redistribute things to make it more affordable, you obviously raise prices. That's something that Democrats understand when it comes to tariffs. They argue all day long that tariffs raises prices. They fail to recognize that when they have domestic companies being taxed to help redistribute, essentially. So I think that's a major difference between the two, is that one wants to redistribute by raising prices, that is to say, taxing companies, and one wants to lower resource costs in production, which is the Trump agenda.
This idiot dumbfounds me because she is basically hates on everything that brings prosperity to Nashville, like the bachelorettes,
that pays a lot of
and
bills
the pedal taverns. Yeah, that's what makes Nashville and function as a little economy on its own. But I want to switch gears to this and tie this into the affordability equation. So Federal Reserve Governor Stephen Myron, who replaced the woman who quit because she was trading her investment account around the Fed decisions, we found that out recently, is splitting with his colleagues calling for a 50 basis point interest rate cut at the next month's meeting. Take a listen to this.
Well, so my view is it's appropriate to get to neutral rather quickly, and I've been very clear about that, and I thought that was appropriate in a series of 50 basis point cuts. The big difference between myself and I think where the bulk of the committee is not necessarily on what the end destination is. I think a lot of people, if you look at where their projections for the economy go in what we call the dots, they have us getting towards neutral rates. It's just over the question of how quickly we get there. And I want to get there rather quickly because I don't see an inflation problem.
Well, the American people do see an inflation problem, Tom. It's still running at 3%. It seems like the Fed governors are concerned that they will cut in December. Even people who are allies of the Jay Powell are calling for it. But why they're fighting employment, trying to prop up the job market, but not concerned about inflation. What gives here? If you prop up the job market, do you just explain that?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a big believer, and a lot of people are not, even though the DC is run on this world of the view. that the Fed can basically fine-tune the economy by raising or lowering interest rate by a quarter, when those lags from doing that are long, half a year essentially. So a lot of people are skeptical in the first place that they can actually do this. And therefore, in some sense, the lack of data we had recently, because they do it being data dependent, they say, and that screws up the economy even more. So the lack of data we had recently is actually a good thing for the Fed not to be so data dependent, in my view. But the real issue, I think, is affordability, because when you have inflation, what happens is the most inflation occurs not in the price of goods, but in the price of credit. When the interest rates go up from 3.5% to 7%, you are doubling the price of credit, meaning your monthly mortgage checks is double. That's 100% inflation. And that has hit people hitting really, really hard. It's much more inflation than in the goods market, essentially.
So if you cut rates, you are helping affordability.
Well, you're freeing up discretionary dollars. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, what the Fed is doing, they're fighting goods inflation with credit inflation, essentially, when they go and hike interest rate in response to CPI changes, right? So this is a real issue, because housing and cars are one of the most biggest part of the budget for most consumers.
Yeah.
Tom, always great to see you. Thanks so much.